we're doing river rescue. The problem with rope is that they get tangled up, they get wrapped around your arms, they get wrapped around your legs, and it happens really easy. And then somebody's stuck, a rope wrapped around, or you set up a system, like we have a system set up there, and suddenly you have to take that system apart, and you have to be able to cut your ropes. So you'll see most of us are wearing a knife and a life jacket. Right there. And that's the purpose of the knife, is to cut the rope real quickly. So this is another tool that when you're doing river rescue, you should have on your life jacket. We're gonna do a canoe flip. What happens with these canoes is that they float this high above the surface. And when a canoe is full of water, a liter of water weighs 1 kilo. So these canoes become really heavy. If this canoe has a bit of flotation right here in the seat and a bit of flotation in the material. The danger in wild water is when your canoe is full of water that you cannot stop it. That canoe is in the middle of that current and it's going that way, and you have no choice but to go with it. A canoe without flotation is also really dangerous on the lake, because if you flip, swamp your canoe, you have no way to climb back in to bail it out, right? So even if you're crossing a lake, adding an inner tube on the inside of your canoe is really helpful. This will be our raft flip demonstration. The people in the raft are going to go upside down, and then they're going to do a demo on how to get back on top of the raft. So when you do flip a raft, you want to climb back onto your raft. Most of us wear flip lines, which we wear around our waist, which will basically be a little piece of rope. And as the person climbs on top of the raft, they start pulling the boat up. And as this is happening, hang on a sec. Lots of time, if the raft is upside down, we have one guide in the water, and the guide will crawl underneath the raft, grabs onto the tube right here. Okay, Jeff? And when you pull, you get pulled right back into the raft. Woo. Throw rope demonstration would consist of having somebody swimming in the river, yelling for help, looking really concerned, and we have people on shore who are trained, and we throw them the rope. When you throw a rope at somebody, you want to make sure that they're watching you. Rope, rope. The person you want to train them to grab the rope and not the bag, because there's about 60 feet of rope in one bag. The minute they grab the rope, they want to go on their back. And strength-wise, you may want to throw the rope in behind you and then start belaying the rope like this, and you can start pulling them in. And so you can kind of tow them into shore very quickly.
What we plan to do is just show you a very short series of maneuvers that a power boat can deal with in moving water. We're not going to jump in the water because Bob's got a lot of wet people here, and they look better wet in most things than we do in this. And he also pointed out that, first of all, just using the boat as a rescue platform is a handy thing, because in Yukon there's not that many roads that come up to our rivers, and obviously we have to get there as quick as we can. What we'll do first is we'll peel out from where we are and travel downriver. We'll cut across to the other side of that island where we have a bit more water to work with. Depth of water is a consideration because we've got some pretty expensive things hanging down below the hull of that boat. And we'll demonstrate how you can turn a big boat like that in a very short radius. We'll also demonstrate by doing that what an active or an inactive crew can help the turn of a boat. So we'll try a very short radius turn with an active crew and help the driver's ability to get that boat around in a circle. After we do that, we'll come back up here. We'll just do some holding station, some ferry glide maneuvers. We'll try and put it up into a spot where we could actually effect a rescue from if there was somebody trapped on those rocks, how we could nose in, protect our props, and keep everything functioning.
You're standing in a wooded area. Just pretend. So one of the problems that we have is that, of course, we're dealing with a cliff. And cliffs are not easy to drag people up. We're also dealing with somebody that we now have determined to have some rather substantial injuries, so they need to be properly immobilized and properly cared for before we evacuate them from the bottom. Otherwise, we just send Mongo down there to pick them up, and they do the old fireman's carry, and they come up and plunk them on the ground. That's not, this day and age, that's not a really good accepted practice for rescuing people. I think the public expects better of us. So what we would do essentially is we'd set up a series of systems here that would enable our people to go down, properly immobilize them, and to bring them back up here and turn them over to EMS, and the emergency medical service people would carry on. What the rescuer would do would be to yell over to the bluff and reassure the person down there that in fact help is on the way. And then he or she would make sure that the area is, of course, cordoned off so we don't end up with too many rubberneckers wanting to go down and fix the world. And then we would also start making some primary or preliminary looks around, a reconnaissance of the immediate area, and look for anchors and stuff that would be substantial enough for us to tie our systems off from. Now, because you're standing in a wooded area and it's very muddy, and because we have very limited space, what we decided was that we were going to have to build a redirect system, which is attached to the front of that truck. That was as close as we could get. That's our anchor. And down on the other side, we have some very substantial boulders that we are going to use for our primary anchor.